and put extraneous material into the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'm here today to be a voice for the millions of women and men who are celebrating the recent decision by the Secretary of Health and Human Services regarding requiring all businesses and corporations to provide birth control insurance coverage, a life-saving benefit for women, millions of women. Under this new rule, virtually all women would have access to birth control coverage without a copay through their employer health plan. If you listen to the political pundits in this town, you will come to the conclusion that people do not support the Obama administration's decision, that people of faith are en route to the White House prepared to storm it because of this decision. But if you talk to the average American, you will realize that there is absolutely overwhelming support for the decision on the birth control benefit. This support crosses party lines as well as religious affiliation. In fact, a poll released just yesterday found that roughly 6 in 10 Catholics support requiring employers to provide their employees with health care plans that cover contraceptives. Let's be clear. This decision represents a respectful balance between religious persons and institutions and individuals. It is very important to clarify that the law contains an exemption for religious institutions. What that means is that approximately 335,000 churches or houses of worship can choose not to provide birth control coverages for their employees. So if you're the secretary at the church or if you are employed by the archdiocese, they do not have to provide birth control coverage for their employees. The Health and Human Services was very important for them to carve out this exception in respect of separating church and state concerns. We're not requiring Catholic churches to go out and buy contraceptive coverage for all in spite of what you have heard over TV. But this rule does require that religiously affiliated universities and hospitals, which are operating as large businesses and employ and serve a diverse array of people, would have to follow the same rules as other businesses. This is the part that keeps getting lost in the debate. The sole purposes of these institutions is not to offer people a place of refuge and worship. It is not a place for people of faith to go to gather in fellowship and worship. The purpose of these institutions is to provide health care, is to provide an education, football teams for their clients or for their students. No one is trying to take away religious freedom, but rather this ruling preserves personal freedom. The concept of separation of state protects these 335,000 places of worship. But the concept of separation of church and state does not mean that a church can use their bully pulpit to separate millions of women from critical health care benefits. Just imagine that women on average spend 30 years attempting to prevent pregnancy. Just think about what it means for the health of a woman, the health of her family, to give birth or try dying for 30 years. And I understand that some people are worried and protective of their religious freedom, in part because they're being misled by what this HHS ruling actually does. But I also worry that some people in the faith community are being exploited and used to create a diversion. Another fact that people keep ignoring is that many religiously affiliated hospitals and universities already provide birth control to their employees through their insurance packages. I mean, it's standard at many of these workplaces. This is a non-issue for many Catholic and religiously affiliated colleges and universities already. And we're not talking about just a few workers. We're talking about millions of secretaries, janitorial staff, nurses' aides, lab techs of many different beliefs, some of no beliefs. So I would hope that we would not try to use religious bullying